So today I'm going to be going through the roadmap 2025, looking a little bit in the past and the future. And this is a quote that was the beginning of the year. So an amazing transformation is well underway as we move from tools from intelligence to intelligent tools. The rebuild of cornerstone components in Engaging Networks platform through 2025. This new foundation is designed to integrate AI with the objective in improving outcomes while increasing efficiency. So even speaking with Glyn Thomas and Amnesty today around using Claude to analyze data. AI is here. Everyone's can use it. ChatGPT. There's so much potential. Juggling the actual usefulness, and this is something that Graham saw 4 years ago, and started Accessible Intelligence in order to be able to sort of be ahead of the curve. And then 2 years later, OpenAI released their modeling, and it really just shifted the entire industry to the forefront. So a lot of the AI was specific automated content on classification of emails and how you be able to push those retention cases, and clients were using those to good effect. But now it's come to this year's fruition, pushing a lot more AI functionality. That was the learnings from Accessible Intelligence into Engaging Networks. And there was 2 AI-defined segments, which was kind of like the toe in the water for clients who had an Accessible Intelligence license to help the data team kind of bridge the gap between Engaging Networks and passing data. But towards the end of the year, there's going to be a lot more AI accessible functionality that's going to be coming into Engaging Networks. And a lot of the prioritization of the roadmap was this balance, is clients need updates, they need bug fixes, we need to push innovative tools, and you can feel that for the last 2 years there's been a real shift. So peer-to-peer was a huge undertaking that took a lot of development resources to kind of see the light. While that was being done, there was a PCI compliance, a lot of security measures that we took place, just general upkeep, as well as planning for bigger items like the segments. So we pushed a lot out last year. It wasn't necessarily as visible, but what we're seeing is the fruit of our labor last year. I think this year is sort of coming to fruition, and we're really proud of the segments and the reporting tools that are coming out. And with AI, the learnings from AI Accessible Intelligence, we're really trying to then push those learnings back into Engaging Networks. So essentially, the product cornerstones for 2025 was segments, reporting, smart pages, and automations. Last year, when the roadmap and the product was being thought about, there were definite things that, in order for us to get there, we need to fix things here. And there was a lot of reworking around, well, profiles is great, user query is great, it's useful. How can we then look to the future to improve new tools? And sometimes that comes with the cost of migration, but we really feel that we want to put our foot first forward and know that at Engaging Networks always innovates, and we're trying to push new tools out that are user-friendly and useful and powerful. So with segments being the cornerstone, you'll see that reporting, smart pages, and automations kind of were the corner keystone initiatives of 2025. Having said that, even outside of these core initiatives, we've been a very busy year. We're very happy that peer-to-peer has come out of beta. We had a beta session, and I was really pleased to be able to demo peer-to-peer with you. We had to implement a security center. Obviously, last year there was a lot of security-based change in the PCI environment. So Security Center is kind of a one-stop hub to be able to help account success, manage, and help clients be secure. We did a BBMS integration, which is in the North American market, very interesting space to be in. And we've done a lot of advocacy local databases updates. So this was Canadian, obviously there was a UK general election, but then obviously in America, there's a lot going on. So our advocacy teams has expanded and is always at the forefront trying to update and keep the databases as up to date as possible. And then we updated content security policies. All the while reviewing clients' needs, fixing bugs. And I want to call out Leah Mears, who's our Director of Client Success, who's played a pivotal role of helping her team liaise with the product team to bring client issues up. So there's been a lot of also fundamental structural changes over the last year and a half that have really started to help the directional shift of getting more client-based features up to the development product teams. And still moving forward, so digital wallets has been something that we've always been wanting to add, so specifically to events and symbolic giving. So that's in the place now. We will probably do events first and then symbolic giving next. But I also wanted to call out a gift view tool, which is also coming down the pipeline. So we've heard that being able to find transactions quickly, specifically for member care services, is something that kind of we could improve on. So the gift view tool is a way of you being able to go, okay, let me find this by this transaction ID, and you can kind of then dig into that supporter's record, and I'll show you a little comp after. Obviously, marketing tools, we said in the last session that Euro did. It was very proud of that tool. It helps you build very powerful but simple marketing tools, and that you can then use segments to market out. And that was where we first introduced segments. So segments can be leveraged with marketing tools, but obviously segments is only as powerful as the things that can use with it. Additionally, we need to put into our marketing tools into our marketing automation. So that's an area in our marketing tools that we will then uplift the marketing tools editor, and that's going to be coming in this quarter. And then segments probably further down the line, further down in Q4, but that's kind of the plan this year for marketing automation. And then Blue Sky social sharing is coming imminently as well in our May 16th release. And here is an example of just the gift view in a very simple comp. We've heard that member care and yourselves being able to find a gift or transactions easily is something that we need, so we're looking to do that. And I'd be keen to speak to anyone who this rings true. I also see there's some improvement here of being able to bulk manage recurring donations. So if there's any administrators who need to be able to bulk update, like maybe the designation codes and recurring gifts, etc., I'd love to hear and sort of validate some of the thinking that we have around that. But come speak to myself or Marta, who's at the back. She's sitting next to Michael, and she can come up towards the end. Just flag us down, and we'd love to hear some more thoughts around it. And then obviously security and compliance was big in 2024 as a contest, and Tiffany did an amazing job leading us through becoming SOC 2 and also PCI 1, level 1. There was a lot of parties in play in order to do that, but being able to have a security center, internal vulnerability scanning, the external PCI scanning, and the update recommendations enabling two-factor authentication is all something that we're also thinking about in 2025. So just to touch on segments, we had a segments demo. I'm just curious to know, raise of hands, who has used segments? Okay, and then the rest of you have not used segments. So segments is effectively the new way of being able to find and filter supporters. So it's a combination of profiles and the user query tool. We took what was the best of profiles, what was the best of user query, how could we build a tool that could then see us going forward in the future, and why segments will become important is that now it's going to start fitting into the newer tools that you will see getting rolled out into engaging networks. So it's obviously part of marketing tools, and right now it's a flip. You can use the old query tool to build it, or you can use segments to target supporters. So that's probably a good place to start outside of reporting. Probably reporting is the best place to start because that allows you to kind of get to grips with it and get data out. And then for segments specifically, things like new filters, like new segments to identify supporters who have opted in for the first time, support for future dates and supporter fields, and then in line with thinking about how we're going to put segments into marketing automations as well, and then the actual builder into marketing automation so you can then start segmenting supporters and filtering them for those journeys. And this is probably the most exciting thing that's happening soon. So we've got a release on May 16th. What we have been doing is we've been doing a UAT on our reporting interface. So we've been working on this since end of last year, going over, and we've been focusing on a new visual reporting dashboard, as well as a new custom report builder. So the dashboard is a complete overhaul. It has improvements like being able to do custom date ranges. Like obviously we pushed the visual reports out last time, and the feedback immediately was custom date ranges. So when we look at new tools that are the design of it, we really take into account what we did last time, what we maybe failed last time, what was great last time, and then really try push improvements down the line. So here, there's the primary dashboard. You'll be able to then dive into each of those widgets, custom date ranges, and then you'll be able to apply a segment. So either a predefined segment or a reporting flags custom segments that you've built. So here you'll see that this is where the power of segments is, and also where the adoption of segments is needed, because in order for to use the new tools, segments is here. We're also trying to push for more actionable insights. So how we can say passive to insightful. And we're offering 3 actionable insights on our visual report builder on release. So one, which is quite interesting, is bounce rate. So if during a course of the last month, if a particularly high email bounced compared to others in the same channel, like newsletters or fundraisers happened, we'll say, well, this email bounced. But now what we do is in the analysis section is say, of the people who did bounce, here's some details around it. So we'll show origin sources, we show the time on file, etc. So and recommendations of kind of how you could improve. And similarly, this is the recurring monthly gifts. How can we help you understand the ups and downs of the data, as well as then providing like industry analysis and improvements on how you are moving forward. And there's a third around the prospect segment as well. And then the custom report builder, which I think will help many people's lives. So obviously we have a transactional export. It's very powerful, but it's kind of cumbersome to read. And we wanted to envision how can we find a way of being able to easily access a lot of the data that's in engaging networks. So even like days on file, how many donations a supporter's made, have they made any action, are they a recurring donor? Right now that data is all available. You can query it in certain ways, but getting a flat file that's easily readable can be challenging. So goodbye campaign data for hello amount. Like this, when you're building a new custom report, you'll be able to say, like, I want to get fundraising transaction fields. I now want to have first name, last name, email address. You'll now also be able to say, I want to have the opt-in question and this question, and then I want to have amount, currency, EN transaction ID, and that's what I want. So we're really seeing an improvement of like readability, also the ability to be able to get to the data you need, plus with the ability to tack on segments, it becomes a really powerful tool. And we're really hoping that it'll be able to solve, hoping even the finance team will be happy now, is that even like new people joining, we don't have to, even support doesn't have to explain to the finance team what campaign data for is, etc. So there's and the frameworks that we're doing here is also positioning ourselves to do a lot more, which we're really excited about. So obviously in the first release, we'll be doing fundraising advocacy, and email messaging data in the custom report and the visual reports, but peer-to-peer will be next, and events, and we'll be able to rolling new features like campaign analysis out, etc. Towards the end of the year, AI automations will be starting to be built. So this will probably see fruition, I think, in 2026. But the basis is how can we use AI to create automations a lot quicker because of generative AI, as well as then how can we use all the planning and knowledge and accessible intelligence in order for us to field this. So obviously there's a lot here around like GDPR and what data is, where it's coming, and how will this tool come to fruition. So that all those will be answered as we go. But essentially what the AI automation tool is to be able to provide use cases like sustainer retention, that have been defined based on the analysis of data and the recommendations. Because a lot of this is like cohortized in AI, the the complexity of creating your own automations and series is not needed, because AI is going to define that this cohort needs these many days, etc. So the analysis of data can make the actual building of the AI automation easier. And I was in a session today about sustainer retention, being able to, in the current marketing automation, going through twice on profiles. And this is a clear example of where we could then improve that process on the AI side. So first time going around retention, second time retention, etc. And this is all built in a much more easier way, because a lot of the back end thinking of timings will be done for you, but the generative copy can be at your fingertips to use. With the caveat is that we know, like, good writing is good writing, but AI can help you get there, etc. Another keystone piece of work is our smart pages, which is currently started development. And effectively, what we're seeing in the market is that there's a need for quicker pages. So the Engaging Networks page builder is very powerful. You can put custom scripts in, you can push it to the nth degree. The flexibility comes at sometimes it's more complicated. So we wanted to be able to be in a position in the market to offer both if clients wished. So for Smart Page, we're focusing on Stripe initially, but we're really trying to just make a page that's very quick to build, that's got industry best practices, and all you're focusing on is updating the content and enabling particulars. So the idea is that you create a smart page, you'll then be able to select a particular a template that has a format that you'd wish, like single step. It has a particular structure, and then you're able to then style it and brand it how you wish, and then easily launch, easily style, easily create. And then along with that would be an embeddable lightbox. So you can kind of have the best of either having a donation experience on your website, as well as a streamlined page that you can use in your appeals that will then integrate with us, our marketing tools, etc., our visual reporting, our report builder. So an integrated tool that has very slim, very quick to launch and smart pages, as well as our flagship product of Page Builder, be able to really customize and push your campaigning and fundraising to where you want them to go. And here's an example of just being able to kind of tweak the selection. So here you want to be able to enable upsell and then disable it, for example. And then finally, peer-to-peer. Obviously in the US market, peer-to-peer is, we have a lot more prominently use, but there's a lot of use cases in the UK, specifically around like tribute givings and evergreen campaigns that we're very excited about. So thanks to all those who joined the session, being able to give a demo, and we're happy to give more demos around this. But I'm really happy to see that it came out of beta. We worked with a number of big nonprofits to see the tool come out, and a lot of features and great use cases we'll be seeing coming out of this tool. Right now, we're sort of finishing off the group and family registrations component, and we're excited to see how that comes out. And then there'll be APIs, dashboard enhancements, and this is also another thing of how different initiatives kind of come together. So in peer-to-peer, cross-site reporting. So in our report builder and our visual reports dashboard, being able to include the peer-to-peer module, etc. So it kind of like comes through in the chaos comes a plan, which we're also excited to see roll out for the remainder of the year. So setting up for your success, which is top of mind of Aaliyah and Sam, who run the client success team. So we have security. Tiffany's doing a security session tomorrow about page security and account security. We have peer-to-peer product training that Simon Durant has been pushing, and he does a wonderful job of keeping our community and also our academy trainings up to date, as well as like visual great videos. The segments is in the training academy, so just have a look, get your fingers, play with them. It's great. It's a fun tool to play with, and there's a lot more options. So even, for example, being able to drag one fundraising page over, you can now then segment supporters in another fundraising page very easily by date. So I know like in that's kind of challenging in the user query tool in profiles, but segments kind of offers a lot more doors, as well as like one mass exclude, etc. So I'm excited. Go try it out. And then reporting is coming. We're in our final UAT at the moment. And it's expected the end of this month. So May 30th is our kind of our day that we're really wanting to push for. So we're just crossing our I's, crossing our T's on the data, doing some UAT, etc. So we're excited for that to come out, and there'll be a webinar in June around that. And then Smart Pages, look out for a webinar till like late 2025. So all in all, just thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate you as clients, as Engaging Networks. We love, personally for me, I love building the software, I love hearing and trying to make the software better. And we really love our clients, so we really appreciate you all. And I hope you're getting a lot from the conference.
Dan and I are always like, how much are we going to Q&A this? But there are 2 questions, so I might as well hop in and ask if you're okay with that. We have a few minutes. Okay. Is the reporting tool only holding data for the last year, or is it all data within the account?
So this might be alluding to email, but the reporting tool, you're able to, whatever's in your account, certainly like supporter data and then fundraising data, advocacy data, and email data. Where we usually have a cap on is on the send data, or open something on email, because the data is so large, we need some sort of retention policy, and I believe it's 2 years. That might be the elusive question that I'm being asked.
Okay. Anyone have any extra detail on that, or that's? Yeah, okay, awesome. And then the next one is, can reports be scheduled to download to an FTP or emailed to an email address?
So right now you'll be able to, on the visual reporting, on the report builder, you're able to schedule it to yourself or teammates, and then they'd receive a link that you can download. We are really looking to solidify how we would run the automated reporting pushes. So I see the big opportunity in our report builder to be able to push out to like an S3 bucket. I know a lot of clients use like Google BigQuery and things like that to be able to run visual reports and data warehouses. So I'm actually very interested to speak to anyone who kind of run that. So we'd probably go with something like an S3 bucket over an SFTP server, but that's kind of the initial thinking right now.
A couple more, is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, cool. Are there any plans for a tweet to target style action for Blue Sky or any other platforms?
If it supports it, I guess, yes. We did the Blue Sky right now coming out, and it's just social sharing. We didn't tackle the Sky to target? I don't know. Not yet, but I think this is an area where we could improve, I would say, and I think next year's roadmap is also something that we'll be like kind of focusing on, is like the advocacy side of the socials.
And then we'll have time for one more, and I can address this slightly. Dan, I don't know if you want to add on to it, but we'll also be talking a little bit about it tomorrow. But to just keep us on track, this will be the last one. So will we be able to use the AI tool to generate, oh wait, no, that's a different one. Sorry, this just popped up. Is it possible to not use the new AI-powered features in EN if we'd rather not use them? So I thought that was just important to address, because there's totally different comfort levels with AI in general. We do have members from the Accessible Intelligence team here, and we can address this a little bit more tomorrow. But overall, the design is meant to be you can opt into it or not. So if you want to turn it on and use it for the modules that you're working on, you can, and if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So that's the high-level answer, and we can get into it more specifically as they're being built into the modules at Engaging Networks as they start to roll out. But that's the design is on-off. I don't know if you want to speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's pretty much on it.
Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it.